Freda did not answer. "I insist upon knowing," Sweyn explained angrily. Freda recovered herself with an effort, and raising her head said, "Your insistence has small effect with me, as you know, Jarl Sweyn. But as there is no reason for concealment, I will tell you. He is a messenger whom my dear father has sent to me to tell me that some day he hopes to rescue me from your hands." Sweyn laughed loudly. "He might have saved himself the trouble. Your good father lies wounded near Paris, and by the time he is able to set out to your rescue we shall be but hasting on the sunny waters of Italy, and long ere that you will, I hope, have abandoned your obstinate disposition and consented to be my wife." Freda did not answer at once. Now that there was a hope of rescue, however distant, she thought it might be as well to give Sweyn some faint hope that in time she might yield to his wishes. Then she said, "I have told you often, Jarl, that I will never be your wife, and I do not think that I shall ever change my mind. It may be that the sunny skies you speak of may work a wonderful change in me, but that remains to be seen." Sweyn retired well satisfied. Her words were less defiant than any she had hitherto addressed to him. As to the message of her father, who could know nothing of his intention to sail to the Mediterranean, he thought no further of it. 3 days later the galleys were launched, and after a day spent in putting everything in its place, they started on their way down the river. They rowed many miles, and at night moored by the bank. After darkness had fallen, a small boat rowed by at full speed past them. It paid no attention to the summons to stop, enforced though it was by several arrows, but continued its way down the river, and was soon lost in the darkness. Sweyn was much displeased. As they rowed down they had carefully destroyed every boat they found on the river, in order that the news of their coming might not precede them. "The boat must have been hauled up and hidden," he said. "We might as well have stopped and landed at some of the villages and replenished our larder. Now we shall find the small places all deserted, and the cattle driven away from the river. It is an unfortunate mischance." As the Northmen anticipated, they found the villages they passed the next day entirely deserted by their inhabitants, and not a head of cattle was to be seen grazing near the banks. In the afternoon they came to Liège. The gates were shut and the walls bristled with spears. The galleys passed without a stay. Sweyn had other objects in view. Any booty that might be obtained without severe fighting he would have been glad enough to gather in, but with a long sea voyage before him he cared not to burden his galleys, and his principal desire was to obtain a sufficient supply of provisions for the voyage. For several days the galleys proceeded down the river. The villages were all deserted and the towns prepared for defence. When he arrived within a day's journey of the sea he was forced to halt. Half the crews were left in charge of the ships. With the others he led a foray far inland, and after some sharp fighting with the natives succeeded in driving down a number of cattle to the ships and bringing in a store of flour. Edmund had kept ahead of the galleys, stopping at every town and village and warning the people of the approach of the marauders. He reached the mouth of the river 2 days before them, but to his deep disappointment saw that the Dragon had not arrived at the rendezvous. On the following afternoon, however, a distant sail was seen, and as it approached Edmund and his followers gave a shout of joy as they recognized the Dragon, which was using her oars as well as sails, and was approaching at full speed. Edmund leaped into the boat and rowed to meet them, and a shout of welcome arose from the Dragon as the crew recognized their commander. "Are we in time?" Egbert shouted. "Just in time," Edmund replied. "They'll be here tomorrow." Edmund was soon on board, and was astonished at seeing Siegbert standing by the side of his kinsman. "What is the news of Freda?" the jarl asked eagerly. "She is well and keeps up a brave heart," Edmund replied. "She has sworn to kill herself if Sweyn attempts to make her his wife by violence. I have spoken to her and told her that rescue will come. But how is it that you are here?" "After you had left us, your good kinsman Egbert suggested to me that I should take passage in the Dragon. In the first place I should the sooner see my daughter, and in the next it would be perilous work after the Danish army had left for a small party of us to traverse France." "I would have thought of it," Edmund said, "but my mind was so disturbed with the thought of Freda's peril that it had no room for other matters. And how fares it with you?" "Bravely," the Northman replied. "As soon as I sniffed the salt air of the sea my strength seemed to return to me. My wound is well nigh healed, but the joint is stiffened, and my leg will be stiff for the rest of my life. But that matters little. And now tell me all your adventures. We have heard from the messenger you sent how shrewdly you hunted out Sweyn's hiding place. Chapter 17. Recording by Mike Harris.